All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I hope you're doing great. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be taking a look at the week ahead. Every weekend, we come here and we take a look at 7 days and a special topic. Special topic is really cool today. It's about catching lightning in a bottle. Before we get into anything, we're going to begin with channeled messages. And these were coming through bright and clear in dreams today. In fact, I woke up this morning with the first of the two totems. So if you're new to my channel, I use dream interpretation, totems, and energy in addition to the cards. Okay, so the cat was the first thing that I saw, and it was a white cat to be specific. When I did some research, those are not as common to have like a pure white cat. It was a kitten as well, actually, and it was in a little box and looked kind of like worse for the wear. But once I gave it some milk and some food, it started to kind of like come back to life. And so for me, of course, this is kind of connected to the 9 lives or the 9 of wands, which is perseverance. And you can even kind of see it in this illustration, but typically the person has a bandage on their forehead representing that feeling of, you know, I've been through it, but you're not going to knock me down. I'm going to come back. So one of the themes this week, we have a new moon tomorrow, by the way, is this sort of renewal energy. And I'll probably do an impromptu live. I like to do that for celestial events. But anyway, Monday's a great day, even before we look at the cards, to turn a new leaf, to plant a new seed, to basically say, I'm not done, or I want to start this, whatever. Either way, finish what you've started or start something new. It's a good day to push forward. And if you were feeling that sense of exhaustion, renewal comes forward. Take care of your physical health, because when I was looking at the kitten, it was dehydrated, it was tired, it wasn't eating properly. So all of these can be metaphors for things that we might need to change in our own lives. Because this is a symbol of magic and also a symbol of perseverance, good things can happen. The cat appears on the Queen of Wands. It is a black cat, but it's a cat nonetheless. So 9 lives, 9 of Wands, little black cat on the Queen of Wands. It's all magic. It's all pushing forward. And this is a week to basically allow that to happen. Okay, let's go ahead now and look at the second energy that came through. There's a couple of other things that I want to talk about, but this one is what you chose for me, which is lightning. And lightning, of course, appears on the tower. This can be lightning that you decide to harness and move. So change, it's just an indication of change, right? So this is a chance to really embrace that and be like a tower reversed moment where you say, I'm done with this. I'm ready for something new. Let's talk a little bit about this common myth with lightning, which is that it can't strike twice. It actually strikes many times in the same place. We just can't see it with our human eyes here. So it's basically this discharge of energy from the clouds, creating this ladder of electricity. And what happens here is in 30 milliseconds, it reverberates and it does multiple releases in the same place. So what looks like one strike of lightning is already multiple bolts in the same place. So it's a little bit of a myth. What we're thinking of is that same visual bolt is not going to look and appear in the same place at the same time, but there's actually already a lot of electricity that's traveling up and down, kind of like AC currents. It's going back and forth. Anyway, so that tells me for you that there's a capacity to do something great more than once. Sometimes we think that we miss an opportunity and that's it, end of story. When I kind of look into the energy around lightning, it's saying, no, it's not as simple as that. You can keep doing wonderful things. It just may not look the same. So if you can open yourself up for different levels of success, different types of success, then you might be open to new things. Sometimes we just have to kind of broaden the lens, if you will. The other thing that came through, and I think it's because of the new moon tomorrow too, but I was seeing the energy of water coming through, not the sky, but the ceiling. So for some of you, take a look at your roofing. For the rest of us, it could just be this need to kind of let go of some emotions and really kind of open up and allow things to flow through this week. Okay. Welcome everyone. We're going to take a look now at the 7-day forecast, taking us again through today and all the way through to next Sunday. All right, so the camera's set up. Let's begin. Welcome. All right. Let me just adjust my view so I can see what you're seeing. Thank you and welcome to everybody. I see we've got some new members. Great to have you here. We just got a volunteer for today, which is the Chariot. Okay, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Wow, what an exciting week here, especially with change and transformation coming through a week from now. All right, let's begin with the energy around today. So as we look at this Sunday, we have the Chariot, and slow and steady wins the race. We have the snail as the form of the Chariot here. And unless we're thinking of the never-ending story where there was that fast snail in it, most snails are basically connected to like Nine of Pentacles too, which is taking your time, building things rung by rung, step by step, brick by brick, not rushing to the finish line. And knowing that there is this sense of, it's satisfaction knowing that you can really push through and see something all the way through, and like, again, soup to nuts. So this is a day today where with the Chariot, it's asking you to take the reins and say, I'm going to take this on. I'm going to really tackle this today. I may have been meaning to do it for weeks, months, years, but today is the day that I'm going to do it. So responsibility, ownership, leadership, management, all of those things are parts or elements of the Chariot. And also just picking a direction, because just like a car or any vehicle, you have to know where you're navigating. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. So today, if nothing else, could be a day for research and decision making. Even if you're not taking the first step, you're creating that sort of GPS in your head, and that's where the power is. All right, let's take a look now at the energy of Monday, and we have Five of Pentacles coming through. This is moving beyond the limits in your life. Sometimes it's because of what didn't come through in the past. So we can sometimes associate one block, one rejection, one person who couldn't or wouldn't see what was possible as an indication of what will always be. They're just cycles, and this cycle is ready to be broken. When the Five of Pentacles comes through, you want to be mindful of signing a contract or, doing something where you're not getting enough back. So this is a day to ask for more. We see this going on right now with the entertainment world, with writers and actors and whatnot. So striking and things like that can be something that you can do with the Five of Pentacles. The other thing can simply be negotiating or saying no or searching for a better option. If you're buying something, the price may be too high. If you're selling something, you may be underestimating the value. So there's so many different ways to look at Five of Pentacles from a resource or money perspective. Don't underestimate your value is the sort of like caption that would serve most things. Personal healing, like when it comes to the inner child, and it never is a popular option here, unfortunately, and it'll be one that I'll just occasionally one day just do a mini read on. But you have to heal the child within. There's sometimes things from the past, rejection, or just something that didn't go the way you wanted to, and it's holding you back. So this is also a day for inner child healing. So suffice it to say, Monday is a day to be discerning and not to settle for less than the best. Okay, now let's take a look at what's coming through Tuesday. It's going to serve you well because now we have Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords is when action can happen. We have learned the lessons of sort of perseverance, patience, all the things that we would see in that snail shell that actually came through today if you're watching me live. And so now there is this sort of door that's starting to open. I love that there's a keyhole right at the center of this. It's also very cosmic. This is also connected to the golden mean. There's this spiral sort of energy, and the Fibonacci sequence, it kind of goes through mathematics and science and the universe. So there's a pattern in everything, and you're starting to see the pattern. You're starting to see opportunities. You're starting to know that you're the one that holds the key. This is also connected to Hierophant energy. The two keys are at the bottom of that. So putting all this together so you can do something with it. It's a day to speak up, take action, sign a contract finally, open your own door if someone else isn't going to do it for you. And it's a very sort of forward and energy forward and action forward kind of card. Okay, possibilities, things opening up. I like it. An end of feeling blocked. me just adjust these. I love these cards, but they do have a little bit of glare. To the creator, I wish they were semi-gloss. All right, let's go to Wednesday. We have now pushing through possibly too much work on your plate, other people trying to get their own sort of projections or will or whatnot here. So let's talk about the Seven of Wands. The cool thing with Seven of Wands, the traditional card, is you can do anything that's put in front of you. You've just come through success, Six of Wands. You're just headed towards more success and rapid movement, Eight of Wands. The middle card is where you start to figure out, do I have to do all of this? Do I have to listen to all of you? And also, I don't need to kind of go on the defensive stance. Traditional card, they're holding a wand like this, pushing back people. In this one, he's kind of like breaking himself free of needing to do everything, be everything, or sometimes be boxed into a certain place. It's a card of strength. You just have to figure out how to use your strength. I like that his tattoo says love. You're going to push back with a sort of energy of love, appreciation, kindness, empathy. We don't have to kind of fall into those cycles of fighting. Pick and choose your battles well, is what I would say with this, and save your energy for something better. It's a great day to get stuff done. Even if you're overworked, you'll have a good chance of getting the help you need or finishing what you need to finish. It should be a very productive day overall. Take care of your body. When I was thinking of the cat metaphor that came through in dreams, it's definitely connected to the midweek point. Also, Monday. This usually is lower extremities. This can just be overall physical exhaustion. So this is like feet, ankles, toes, and this is just body exhaustion. So take care of yourself specifically on those 2 days. We're looking pretty good as we get to Thursday. Lovers in reverse. You may have too many things that are kind of like filling up your schedule, too many people that are interested in you, just a lot going on. It's a busy dance card when this card is coming through in the reverse state. Typically that means that you can be a little pickier. So the discernment of midweek is also bubbling over to Thursday. Don't say yes to everybody. Don't say yes to everything. Don't settle. That's also a common theme this week. For something that isn't satisfactory to you, isn't good enough, you're worth more. And the Five of Pentacles energy is continuing to reverberate just in a different way. This is a magnet. Don't underestimate your value. Also connected to that Five of Pentacles. So sometimes when things that are really, really good happen, we question, am I going to be okay? Am I worth it? Can I do it? You wouldn't have called this in if you weren't ready, if you were for some reason unprepared. So yeah, this is good. This is good stuff. Could be an unexpected ally, friend, or love interest that pops into your life today and this day, Thursday. So be open to the possibilities. All right, so that was Thursday. Now we're going to take a look at Friday. On Friday, we have the Hierophant. And it's interesting because I feel like you already overcame some of the gatekeeping energy of this. So the card is reversed. I mentioned that the Ace of Swords, normally we wouldn't see a key on the Ace of Swords. Whenever I do see a key, I do connect it to the Hierophant. You might be one step ahead of something, which is cool. So if there's a boss or a teacher or a parent in your life that tends to come in and double check, you'll have all your ducks in a row. And when they say, did you do this? You'll say, not only did I do that, I did this, this, and this. And they'll be like, oh, okay, good to know. So this is a chance to kind of surprise someone with your preparedness, but be prepared. By the end of the week, we see someone who might want to check in on you. And since you're watching this in advance, you'll know that the work that you're doing specifically on Tuesday, but carrying into Wednesday, you're going to get ready for that. Thinking outside of the box. So Hierophant is super traditional. It represents traditional values, traditional systems. A lot of times when the card comes through, we're looking at like education, religion, politics, things that are regimented, difficult to move forward. And when it's reversed, it's saying you're going contrary to some of those traditional things, doing something new. It's innovation, it's breakthrough, it's bleeding edge. And so some of what you're doing may not make sense to everyone. As long as it makes sense to you, that's fine. Because what's, unusual today becomes commonplace 5 years down the road. So if you're ahead of things, it's okay. You're not always going to get everybody to understand where you're at. You might also just want to change up the routine, okay? Spiritual awakening is a part of this card too, so there might be something coming through that you have a hard time ignoring. Moving on to the weekend, on Saturday, we have Knight of Pentacles. And this Knight of Pentacles is in reverse. The reversed knights, when I read them, are really a chance to revisit and recalibrate before moving forward. So a Knight of Pentacles is normally looking at overall resource energy in your life. So that can be your time, your money, of course, also your energy. And you're looking at these things and you're thinking, what's working? Is it moving me forward and moving me towards my goal? Because knights are very goal task oriented. So if something isn't moving you forward, the reverse knight is saying, why are we doing this? We're not going to be doing this. Freeing up the resources so that it can gallop ahead and make up for lost time. So any pause in your schedule, it's going to be advantageous, possibly even better that you do it that day than sort of like moving several steps forward and then having to go back. So take a pause, calibrate, recalibrate, figure out what you want, and then move forward. When it comes to negotiations, this card can also just say, we need to go back to the drawing table, or I need more of this. It's just speaking to what you need, because any of the court cards reversed, the page, knight, king, or queen, are basically saying, this is what I need for success and happiness, etc. All right, let's take a look at next Sunday. This is what it's all leading up to, which is transformation. The card says death, yes, but we're looking at all these beautiful flowers, a butterfly. It's very transformative when we look at this. It's going beneath the surface too. Something could be coming to a natural close by this period of time. So maybe it's the end of a relationship, a job, or you finished up a task. And then this is asking you far in advance of next Sunday, what's next? What's the next chapter? And for many of us that might be doing the planning today, because I said that would be a good use of this Sunday's energy, you can start to think a year ahead, maybe 3 to 5 years ahead, maybe towards retirement. Like, what is it all about? Because not many times in our lives after we get out of school do people say, what's coming through for you? What do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do for a career? The truth is, we never stop growing. We might stop growing up, but we never stop growing, and we never stop changing. And when we are asked to stay in a box, it doesn't work. When people want to keep putting us back in the box, just like that cat that got out of the box, it's no. And it has 9 lives. It had another reinvention that was coming through. Sometimes you might even feel the fatigue of needing to push through that, but you're never upset once you sort of take the first step, okay? So next weekend is a chance for renewal, reinvention, looking at things differently, giving yourself a chance also to just be for a moment. Sometimes if you're on the run constantly, it's hard to also take stock of what's next. So that is all of that. All right, we're going to move on to the elemental portion of today. This is the only piece that is specific to signs. Everything else that we look at today is going to be something that everybody can watch. But this, I'm going to break it down. I'll break down the 12 signs into groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, so that we can look at it by elements. So let me choose a different deck for this, and then we'll go forward. Okay. Well, there is fire. It automatically came out. Earth, air, and water. Okay, cards were very animated today. Starting off with Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, aka the fire signs. We have fire coming through for you. Queen of Wands energy. Card is reversed, but it really doesn't matter the way this is illustrated. So we have a snake kind of guarding that wand. I got the Queen of Wands energy when I was connecting it with the cat, because she has a black cat, which is magic, intuition, landing on your feet, surprising people, because cats are sneaky. So you have the possibility to use all of those positive attributes this week, the element of surprise in particular, and breaking through expectations. One of the reasons I like that particular queen energy a lot is because she can take a little and make a lot out of it, or she can pull like something out of thin air. So just when it feels like all hope is lost, the Queen of Wands comes through with innovation and looks at it from a different angle, which is probably why the card is upside down. We see this snake, if we take a look at the card, protecting, what is it? 1, 2, 3, at least 3 eggs. Three of Pentacles kind of energy, or Three of Wands energy kind of hidden at the core of this. Pentacles, because eggs and seeds are connected with Earth and Pentacles. So she's taking care of something that she knows is worth protecting. So if you need to protect something, definitely go to those extents to do that. You might be sitting on an idea or an opportunity. It's good energy overall. Don't let other people kind of get into your headspace. She's very strong when it comes to holding her thoughts, and especially when the card is reversed. Keep open-minded, but don't, you're not going to let other people change your mind for something that really, really is core to you. It's good energy across the board. Boss energy for sure. So this is also saying be the boss, stand up, push back if necessary. All right, moving from fire to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Patience will be the most difficult thing for many of you to deal with this week. Temperance in reverse is basically just, why is it taking so long? But it's in the traditional card, we would see the temperance angel with 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in water, with 2 cups and balancing out that energy. And this one we see kind of 2 elements being balanced. So this bird is crying a little bit, and then we also see this power, this strength, this energy. Transmuting, taking one energy and doing something with it. So if you're angry about something, what's the action that you're going to use to basically channel that? If you're inspired about something, it's a lot easier. It's just taking it and taking one emotion and putting it into something else and coming out with something different. Hopefully taking sometimes even low frequency and making it high. Much like Hanged Man in reverse, Temperance in reverse is saying, not only should you not rush, but you should be even more mindful of looking at contracts, double checking your steps before you take them. Make sure that everything is aligned so that you don't have to double back and redo something. And even if you do, like we saw with the Knight of Pentacles, it's not going to be necessarily the worst thing. It could just be a recalibration moment. I ultimately see it fanning that flame too. So putting your energy behind one thing, much like we would see if there was an Ace of Wands, is also part of that. So really focus on breathing life and energy into one thing. Let some of the other stuff fall off your back like water. Okay, so now let's move on from my earth signs to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Opportunities, clarity, dreaming. We have the Seven of Wands. It can be a sort of indecisive card. Not Wands, Seven of Cups, sorry. We had the Seven of Wands coming through midweek, which was to push back. So you might need to push back a little bit, because concentration and focus is kind of funny that what came through my head was different than what was coming through my mouth. So that's a good example of what you might be dealing with this week is, did I communicate it effectively? Did I say what I meant? Did someone else understand it? But ultimately, this card is typically one of opportunities. And there are 2 steps to this to the Seven of Cups. The first is simply to allow yourself to dream. So when you put unnecessary limits or stipulations on the dream, it becomes hard for that to come through. So just keep an open mind. Then once you know what you want, pick one of those cups that's floating in the air and say, this is what I want to put my energy behind. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. So it can sometimes be overwhelming, as you see with this particular Seven of Cups. So you can also bring in an expert or just a friend and say, what do you think about this? Because you can also find yourself stuck. What do I do first? I have so many things on my plate. So a sort of triage approach. What's going to be benefiting most first, then all of the other things in descending order. Okay. So I think for you today would be a really good day, if you're watching me live, to get that to-do list for the week. And then as we were looking at some of the other cards here, pushing back is necessary. If something isn't giving you enough time, energy, or resources, cutting that. If someone's closed-minded, maybe that's not the best approach here. Like really being discerning throughout the week so that you don't get kind of confused and focused on things that don't matter, okay? Let's move on to Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all my water signs. You came through with a water card, the Sun or the Knight of Cups in reverse. Just like I said before, we're not now looking at resources, we're looking at emotional and sort of, it's more emotional things. So it's saying, when I spend time with you, or when I spend time doing this, or learning about this, how do I feel afterwards? What's the payoff for that? And also, what's the fallout? Like sometimes when you spend time with someone, you are exhausted, and you take on their energy. Is that worth it in the long run? Can you put better limits on some of those expenditures? What are you also doing for self-care this week? I said one of the images that I saw was like water coming through the roof. So for some of you, it's kind of like a roof that's had enough. You can only take so much, and then there has to be a natural outlet. It can be through laughter, through tears, through exercise, through therapy, but there needs to be a way, a shape, or a form for you to channel your emotions. And once you do that, things are pretty good. Okay. I think I forgot to mention highlights and lowlights for the week ahead. I'm just going to mention the highlights here real quick, just to help you out before we move into that. I just thought of that. So I think Tuesday is a really great highlight with the Ace of Swords in the upright position. I also think Thursday is. So both of those days are looking great. I think a pivotal point for you is a week from today with the Death card. The most challenging day of the week will probably be Monday because of the Five of Pentacles. The rest of the week is pretty manageable, okay? So I'm going to get ready now for our special topic today, which was catching lightning in a bottle. And like what we were talking about in the channeled messages, it's actually much more possible to have lightning strike in the same place. This is a metaphor. Obviously, you don't really want to capture lightning in a bottle, but it's about being able to manifest and maybe see if there was a missed opportunity, if this time around you can manifest and really make it happen. All right, let me take a glance at the cards and see which deck is calling to us. We're going to do, actually I think I did this one last weekend, so we're going to do a different one. Okay, let's go. We haven't used this in 100 years. All right, so this is for everyone. Welcome, whether it's your first time or you've been here every weekend since I've been doing this. It's good to see you. I forgot how beautifully colorful this deck is. It really lights up the table. All right, let me take a quick drink and then let's get started. All right, let's get started here with the catalyst. The catalyst right now is the bridge. It's on its side, which to me is not necessarily, it doesn't matter when we're looking at one of these round cards, but since it did come through sideways, what I would say is there could be something coming from a really unexpected direction. It could also be you reaching up or reaching into the past for something that you kind of forgot about. But we look at the rainbow in this, which is symbolizing for many of us hope after a period where there may have been a lot of challenge. There's also an opportunity for you to be very sort of inclusive in this next chapter, bringing more people into the fold. I just love that. And the bridge is also saying that there's a chance for you to reconnect with somebody. So maybe there was, it was an acrimonious split. There was some disappointment, some difficult words, but the energy's been discharged. So that tower moment, the lightning, the fallout, it's done now. And this is the calm after the storm. And that's the first thing that I'm picking up on is a new beginning, bridging old sort of gaps that might exist in your life, and then also creating new connections and new opportunities. And they may be coming from unexpected directions. Okay, let's quickly glance just at the overall Celtic Cross and see what's coming through. Again, this is going to take us through the next 6 to 8 weeks. Well, specifically, this is going to be just this week, but whenever I do Celtic Cross, it can take us past the week ahead. So catching lightning in a bottle. What's the big opportunities? What are the challenges? I think one of the big challenges for you could just be stepping away from something. But what I like here is the kind of incremental improvement when we're looking at pentacles. There's a lot of opportunity knocking here. I think for some of you too, there is that inner child that's coming out. We got to look at that as well. All right, let's just take it card by card before we get too far ahead of ourselves. We're going to begin with the Queen of Swords in reverse. So without a doubt, one of the most outspoken cards that could come through, sometimes misunderstood because she shoots so much from the hip that when she delivers information, it can just cause someone to kind of step back. So one of the opportunities for you is deciding how and when to speak up and really empathizing with the other person to think like, should I edit this at all? Is it worth it? Like there are moments where you might need to kind of like really consider the audience, but ultimately she's not going to hold herself back from doing or saying what's necessary. And I quite like that. And I think that for you to be able to be present, because we're thinking, when I think of catching lightning, for this to happen in life, we would have to kind of know where it's going to strike. And you'd have to be there with this symbolic glass or jar so that you could catch it. So what she's going to do is say, in order for me to get there, I have to say this and I have to do this, and I'm willing to take the fall or the fallout, or I'm willing to deal with this. So there is this sort of decisive energy, and she's calculated, but in the best possible way. If I don't do this now, when am I going to do this? And I'm sorry if it's not okay with you, but this is what I need. So that part of it I quite like because she knows who she is. And sometimes you just have to speak your truth. And that's the first message in the spread. Crossing this is the Queen of Pentacles. We have two queens at the center. So this one is she's clearing the path. She's almost taking that sword and clearing away all the brush, all the nonsense, so that this queen can come through. And what the Queen of Pentacles offers is the ability to nurture, to birth, to create. So this could simply say, I quit, I'm done, no more. And instead, I do this, I choose this, I'm going to do this. And we have this little bunny rabbit in the background, and abundance is going to come through, basically. So because now the time and energy is put into something that matters, be it a relationship, a job, or personal development, because the Queen of Pentacles definitely is that. Now we have double divine feminine at the center. So this is empowerment, personal development, self-care. And like I said, the first one is not so much about birthing, but it's about clearing. So clearing and communicating, and then reinventing, birthing, and putting the energy into something new. You have to have her first, though, so that this one can then be empowered. So kind of cool, right? So I do think that you're going to be finding your power and really connecting with that this week and this month ahead. All right. Deep past. Karmic lessons coming through. I mean, this is kind of cool because we can almost imagine the Six of Swords going beneath the bridge, right? So the bridge had to happen first. This was like healing the past and seeing where you're going. The Queen of Swords helped to do that. Now we have the Six of Swords, which is the actual passage. For some of you, maybe this hasn't happened. You haven't allowed yourself to move on, to move forward. We do this when we grieve sometimes. We do this when things are lost, stolen, taken, destroyed, etc. Sometimes we are just stuck for a moment or two because we have to collect our thoughts and think like how and why and what's going on. But now we're getting ready to take the journey beneath the bridge, right? And so you've opened up a new passage, and it's just permission, honestly, permission to move forward, encouragement. You don't need it from me. It's coming through from spirit. It's coming through from the cards. So if you haven't taken movement If you haven't taken action or you haven't started the movement before, now is the time to do so. Something may be naturally starting to fall out of your life as well. I recently had this in the 1-card reading, and it's exciting when the 6 of Swords came through. I think it was today because I read it yesterday. So this is your chance to just really kind of take the first step, okay? Remembering that some of you got Temperance reversed. Temperance is reminding you one step at a time. You don't have to do it all overnight. That's one of the weird things with like all of the home improvement or self-improvement reality shows. You know, they just snap their fingers and everything's done. They don't show, the fights that happen as a wall caves down and you're trying to do all this stuff. It takes time and energy. So one step at a time, don't rush it. Today is just about the first step. We see new people coming into your life now, recent past, but we're looking into the future. So for some of you, they're already around you. For some, they're just about to come through. 6 of Cups in reverse. So there's a couple of things here. If there is karma between you and someone in your family or in this lifetime, this is a chance to to let it go, to make good on that. For some of you, this is a chance to call in a partner from a past life, also clear or celebrate karma. Karma is baggage. When you open up the baggage, sometimes there's good stuff, sometimes there's stuff that needs to be tossed and cleared and dealt with. So I see karmic relationships. Many people call them soulmates. I think karmic is a little bit more specific. Karma is stuff from the past, good or bad, that's coming back again. So as it comes around this time, recognize the karma first, clear it, celebrate it, whatever, and then decide, do we still want to do this? Because you always get a choice once the karma is cleared. Soulmates are fun. It's sometimes just a fast friend in your life. Sometimes it's a familiar. Some of you might be rescuing a cat, because I got a very specific sort of download on that. When I rescued Apollo, that was a very specific energy too. So know this, the cat will come around. It was a little feisty for those of you that might be getting a cat. It looks very sort of quiet when you first get it, but then I got a very playful, very sort of rambunctious cat. So whoever out there is going to rescue one, that's your download. But I could see I do see for many of you this new friendship opportunity coming through, and a chance for you really to be able to maybe for the first time network in a little bit. Sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to just go out there and could be a rebound, date again, make new friends, whatever the rejection from the past is. I don't see it coming through here in the future. Okay. Looking at your crowning card, it is recovery, and it's the 5 of Pentacles. Hello. You look familiar. So this is Monday's energy coming through. This is the one thing we need to clear out the most before you can capture your lightning in a bottle. So she's at this gate, and we see her kind of between two seasons, almost like winter and summer, or spring and fall, two different very kind of like opposite seasons. She's pointing towards the growth. So this is the past, this is the future, but you have to sort of like make peace with what was before you can get into the next several levels of ultimately the 10 of Pentacles, which is great. So it's coming through, but there's a little bit of internal forgiveness, growth, sometimes even stubbornness, where you're thinking, I'm worth more. I can do better than this. I'm not going to allow this to happen anymore. It is reversed. So push back on offers that are, just low or not appropriate or not meeting your desires or needs. Enough said, because we talked about it in the 7-day. Now we have the King of Wands coming through. We saw the Queen when I was looking at that snake with the 3 eggs. So now we have the King of Wands, and we have a big old panther there, which is cool. So the black cat is coming through there. And this is stubbornness and holding your ground. And so this is the second time we're getting that really, really strong energy. So for some of you, there could be people that just want to change you, change your idea, change your path. And the King of Wands is the second only to the Emperor, the strongest card. It's when he says no, he means no. When he says yes, he's moving forward. There's not a lot of apologies. There's not a lot of, and also sometimes there's not even a need to explain. The Queen of Swords, she was doing the explaining earlier. The second time around, it's like, I'm just doing what I said I was going to do, and you move forward. So there's a lot of empowerment in this moment in time. So we have speaking your mind, setting a new course and really putting your energy behind it, and then just it's unapologetic. This is also, again, back into innovation, outside of the box. The key here, pushing through the Hierophant energy, all of that stuff would be connected with the King of Wands as well, okay? Speed will follow. So the Panther's pretty fast. And I saw even the cat in my dreams being pretty fast. I was having a hard time catching up with it, even though it was a little white kitten. It has the ability to kind of move quickly. So you can remember what I said with the cat energy overall. One of the things, I had a cat as a kid. Maybe if we have time, I'll pull up the picture later. But they are super fast. They're super sneaky. They have a mind of their own. And they're very independent. And all of that stuff is part of the King of Wands too. He is fast. He can think on his feet. He is independent. And he's not going to worry too much about popularity. It's just about doing the right thing. So much King and Queen energy. So by the way, this is interesting. We'll look at it more when love comes through. There could be for some of you a blended family because we have 2 kings and 2 queens. So some of you may be getting married for a second time. You might be meeting someone. There may be an extended family that's in the mix here. Lots of brothers and sisters. I'm just seeing a lot of people around you in a sort of blood energy. So yeah, bigger family stuff and dynamics. When we look at the energy around love in a moment, we'll talk about that. Right now, I just want to look at it as aspects of your life and steps to catching lightning in a bottle. So this is you. This represents you in the spread. I would love for this card to be upright. I like that we have like Poseidon energy here, but with the card in reverse, what needs to happen first is release. We also have maybe some Pisces energy because I see a couple of fish here. But yeah, there's this need to sort of let go emotionally of something. And again, when I was looking at the ceiling with the water, it could just represent that you've had enough. You've had it up to here. And so there could be person, an environment, an activity in your life where it just isn't worth that anymore. It's not worth your presence. It's not worth your time. So take care of yourself and speak to a therapist if you need to. Talk to a friend. Work with things like natural endorphins and exercise. Whatever it is for you that constitutes the release. Because love and opportunity, folks, are knocking. We have an Ace of Cups here. It's both, okay? It's also inspiration. These are very intuitive, creative, psychic kind of energies. The King of Cups is so connected to his heart. And so the heart is wise, and it's also very connected to, again, the psychic realm. I want you guys to be able to have this cup upright and receive. Because in the environment, we have this ace, someone or some opportunity kind of knocking, and you have to be ready for it. So self-care in the realm of emotional health is going to be the most important. So whatever you need to do to get there, do that, folks. Because, yeah, if you're looking for love, it's knocking. We see opportunities. If you're looking for a new job or you want to share your creative input with someone else, we see receptivity. Because the Ace of Cups works in both ways. It can be you presenting it to the world and they like it, or the world offering you something and you have to be ready. So everything this week is really getting you ready. We have the Death card that came through for next Sunday. That's when the release has to happen so that you can put that chalice out and say, yes, please, I'm ready for more, okay? Now we have the Strength card. And this is being perseverant, being sort of pushy. Well, sometimes it is pushy, actually, when she's reversed. So perseverant and pushy. Let's talk about that. So the cool thing with the Strength card is she's nobody's fool here. The traditional one even shows that when someone says something ridiculous, they end up eating their words in the presence of the Strength card. Here's your traditional Strength card. So she's basically saying, what did you say? Don't put words in my mouth. And what happens sometimes with the Strength card in reverse is someone might be trying to put words in your mouth and kind of operate it like a ventriloquist. There's a very peaceful energy in this Strength card. And this is sort of saying, I'm not bothered by that. I didn't say that. You're not going to affect me. So you're not going to get into my headspace. And I don't need to waste time and energy. You can do this maybe once, maybe twice, but it is not a sustainable energy. Strength, you can't keep putting your hands in the mouth of a beast. It's eventually going to clamp down. So once or twice, then move on. And I think that you've kind of found an area in your life where you're like, I am tired of this. Some of you are fatigued. Some of you are tired of someone. Some of you are tired of over communicating or getting someone, isn't this what you said? Or do you want to do this? And it's sort of like that communication, you don't even have to do physical labor, but trying to like pull words and commitment out of someone, that can be exhausting, right? It's just like this rope of energy that you're going to say, you know what, do it or don't do it. That's on you. I've done my part. And then you're going to start to kind of create that strength. You can channel your emotions. You have more ideas because we have 3 power cards reversed. This one is just kind of like touching all of them so we can read her as upright, but we want to get your energy in the right place. I feel like some of you might be putting energy in things that just aren't returning on it. So this is a chance to recalibrate. Maybe the collaborations are not working, and that's part of it too. All right, so what do we love about the outcome? The Ten of Pentacles. There's not much to not love about this. This is friendship. This is opportunity. For some of you, you could be buying a new house, getting a new job, moving. You could be getting married. All of these things are part of the Ten of Pentacles. But ultimately, it's the path to success. The artist on this deck did a great job. And death, being the energy of next Sunday, is going to be the first step. So you've cleared a path to this. And we see each of these pentacles leading to the rainbow, the bridge, the promise of something new. We're using a lot of different decks today with very similar images. So there's something beautiful on the horizon. It was worth the struggle. It was worth all that you had to push through. And you may not be there just yet. We see them holding hands at the 3rd pentacle, right between the 3rd and 4th pentacle. So this may be 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months down the line. It won't be longer than that, but it's a little bit of it's going to take some time. So again, don't expect it overnight. This could be a 10-month journey towards that rainbow. Patience is key because we did get the Temperance card, okay? So lightning, your lightning, which in this case, it might be striking right now because the rainbow happens after the storm. So you're moving through the most difficult period, but just because you caught the lightning, it doesn't mean that everything's going to happen right now. So one of the most important messages that we just received is that there might be something coming 3 days or 3 weeks down the line, and then this could also be 10 weeks or 10 months down the line. So this is a long-term goal towards success. It pays off. Just don't get impatient and expect it as fast as lightning. Even though you chose that as the totem, the universe is coming through and saying it's the path to success that you're opening in this one stroke of lightning. Okay? Now we're going to expand this to get a little bit more insight into health, wealth, love, and destiny. And we're going to start off first with the energy of health. And I'm going to hydrate as we get ready for that. Okay, so in health, we got the key. The key came through also as the Ace of it was the Ace of Pentacles, I think. I'll take a look at it. But yes, it was the Ace that came through in the early part of the week. The key was in reverse. So for many of you, there is a chance to sort of like, again, not expect things to just be perfectly aligned. Sometimes you have to try something again and try the thought process from a different perspective. Maybe try a different key. So it's using or applying knowledge in a different way, and that creates the desired outcome. When we're looking at the energy of health, it's a little more nuanced. It may mean that in order to get what you need, you might have to get a second opinion. You might have to try things a couple of times. You may need to study up on something as well. So the knowledge is the key to success. So research and opinions is really what I'm getting, and it may take more than one in order to find the path that's right for you, okay? Now looking at this from the perspective of health, again with the standard disclaimer that I am reading energy, so if there's anything going on in your body, work with a professional, but looking at the energy of the cards, here's what I see. Fatigue is the first thing. So I was going through this a week ago. Some increase in exercise kind of helped me overcome that. But for many of you, it could be emotional. So talking to a therapist, as we talked about earlier. So exercise, sleep, therapy, all of those things will help because something for some of you could be causing that sense of fatigue. So take care of those components first and foremost. Some of you have been waiting and ready and wanting to move on from a relationship or a toxic workplace, or move from a current place of living to another. And we see the opportunity coming through. That desire, that dream manifests, not overnight. Don't accept the first offer on something. Don't overpay or overextend, because this is something that needs to last. So, when it comes to apartments and housing, even though we're looking at health, that is part of being happy and healthy, is finding the right place. And sometimes, I remember last year when I was having some challenges, it was just post-COVID shutdown, and there were people that were doing crazy things. Like, I wanted an apartment and somebody was paying a whole year, and it was between me and them, and they just decided to buy out the year. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. No, I'll just wait. And so it was challenging to find the right place, because I knew my limits, and I'm like, that'd be a Five of Pentacles moment. I'm not going to spend 1 year of wages and then have nothing in the bank. That doesn't make sense. So don't overextend yourself to get something, even though you need that. Like, you have to kind of weigh the ins and outs. So financial stress can cause physical stress too. There is something that wants to be healed with the past when it comes to friends, siblings, or there could be a love interest coming back from the past. The Six of Cups can be a second chance to create that healing. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And then ultimately, I just see power coming through. We have 4 court cards in this, like kings and queens. So this is really just about reclamation of power, ultimately. When it does come to health, one last note, again, feet are coming through. So ankle, the metatarsal bones, even the sort of lower calf muscles, just taking care of your feet, making sure that you have good support when you're walking, making sure that if you have any previous injuries, those are being taken care of. Whatever you need to do for foot health, that's coming through as well. All right, let's move on to wealth. Resources and opportunities at any point of your life is what this is. The focus is on balancing career and home. It's a really great message for wealth. Wealth is not just money. And you can have a lot of money and not be rich. You can have very little money and feel very rich. I was listening to Dolly Parton talk about this song that she wrote, The Coat of Many Colors. And it's basically, she was saying how when she grew up poor and her mom made her this coat and people made fun of her at school, but she felt like rich because her mom sewed it with love. And it's sort of like some people just have this really great rich family and support, and it doesn't matter how much money is there if you feel loved. You can have a lot of money and have no love and feel really empty. So this is balancing out the things in your life that make you feel rich. That's actually the message here. And for some of you, it's work life. You want more time with your family, with your children, with yourself, with your pets, with whatever. And it's maybe worth the change. I did that. I had that wake up call in 2015 where I was like, I could stay at a really successful job with good benefits, but be unhappy, or I could just see what I can do on my own. It doesn't work for everybody. And it doesn't mean it's not an all or nothing. And it didn't have to be for me, but I was done. So for some of you, it might just be pulling back a little bit, going part-time. For some of you, it might just mean a slight, kind of like different turn in the career. You get to decide for you. Isis, by the way, is one of the most powerful gods as well. So we got a lot of divine energy coming through this month. You hold the power. All right. Now let's look again, just energetically speaking, at wealth. The first thing is I see a doubling for many of you of either your self-confidence, because this can be your self-worth, or actually like wealth and opportunity doubling by the end of this period, which could be 10 months. So things are on the right trajectory. You, Queen of Pentacles energy coming through, being the center to this. So saying what you want, going in that path, holding your ground, being creative, and really following through. Lots and lots of boss energy. So I like that component for you. Your health, without your health, your wealth doesn't matter. So you have to focus on mental and physical health and make sure that the energy is where it needs to be first and foremost. There are so many bosses in this spread. When I'm looking at those of you that have a traditional job, there could be a glass ceiling. So there's only so far that you can go, because 2 queens and 2 kings, it's like management heavy. And so this is why maybe you're going to go to greener pastures or create your own path or something of that nature, or go into your personal network and see if you can connect with somebody there. Let me see what else wants to come through with this. Just a lot of creativity, folks. So I hope that you're willing and ready to kind of like embrace your creative approach and speak up. If you don't speak up, people are not going to be able to hear you and reward you. I think ultimately, if you decided to stick with a current path and you went through and held your ground, there is a good chance of getting what you want, just maybe not overnight. That's what I see. Travel is something that for some of you, it's what you want. Some of you, you're tired of it. So it feels like a fork in the road when it comes to that for some of you with career. If you are retired, I think one of the most important things here is this is your moment to do what you need to do for you. There is definitely a new sort of network of people coming through here with the 10 of Pentacles on the horizon. But the first thing is, what are you going to do for you? You've been doing so much for everybody else. This is kind of your moment to have some fun. And that's pretty much everything. I feel like this card said it all. Find a balance between your work, your money, and what makes you happy. If you're happy, you're rich. If you're not, then no amount of money is going to make it better, folks. All right, let's move on to love. Romantic, platonic, friends, family. Let's see what the message was for this. Things are changing. We have clouds. So when it comes to communication, clouds are not what I want. It's difficult to see through clouds. So the first thing is just to speak your mind and clear the air. Shape shifting. You have the ability to change. Ultimately, we got change coming through, like I said, a week from today. And so you're not stuck. That's basically it. And if your partner, your friend, your parent, whoever it is around you, whom you're looking at and thinking about when I pull up this card, won't allow you to shift, then they're the rigid ones, and that's where it might be time to sort of like create some space and distance. Let's look at this from different perspectives, starting with those of you that are currently in a relationship, and then I'll look at other aspects. If you're in a relationship, I saw the blended family coming through. So we have 2 queens and we have 2 kings. So we can rearrange these in any order, and it could be any type of mixed sort of like family. But what I see is that there could be 2 divorced families with, I'm not necessarily seeing the kids per se. They're over here, there they are. So one of you might have kids, or both of you might have kids, and you're trying to blend that. So that's one chapter. Will it work? Sure, it can work. Will it take some work to make it work? Yes, it will take some work. Could the other party, you might have, this is a difficult person on the other side, so you're going to pick and choose the battles like I talked about. But the 2 of you have what it takes. And navigating that one tricky person, it is what it is, right? So sometimes you just take the heat and you push through it because it's worth it for that partnership. So that's one read. If you're in an existing relationship, there is no other partners involved. Well, here's what I'm seeing here. It feels like there's been a distance for some of you. It's been difficult to communicate. Maybe one of you's traveled a lot. And what the desire is for more connection. There's a chance to reconcile if you want. But it feels like you've changed. So what we actually have here is the 2 people that got married, and now the 2 people, and I like that we went from queens to kings. It's just basically a arbitrary sort of hierarchy in tarot. But what we see here is people that have changed quite a bit, because we have all the suits represented today, don't we? We have pentacles and swords, and now we have wands and cups. So you've kind of changed who you are. And so this is a chance to either celebrate the person that you've grown to become, and likewise the person that you're with and how they've changed, or you're going to move down a different path. But it feels like, because we have this really beautiful bridging energy at the end, I feel like no matter how you want to deal with things, whether it's coming back together, moving apart, or blending things, you can do it in a way that is peaceful. And that's the good news here in relationships. What's required? She's right at the center, communication. So communication is key to all of this. People have changed. People change over time. You're not going to have the same person. I'm not the same person I was last year. The events of last year changed me forever. Losing a parent, losing a loved one, losing someone changes you. Losing 2 changes you a lot. Falling in love changes you. Having a child changes you. So you can change in 1 year, you can change in 10 years. You're going to change a lot over 30, 40, 50 years. So if you've had a marriage that's lasted that long, you're not the same person, and that's okay. If you are, I'd be worried. All right, looking at those of you looking for love, yes, you can find love. You have too many options, perhaps. What I would say here, because I see so many people, is be discerning. I think the main thing here is to focus on self-care first. And I'm not afraid to say that because I'm not a channel that just focuses on love. The first thing here is basically really taking care of the physical self, the emotional self. And when you're least expecting it, something comes in here. It could be a Leo, because we have, you might have a choice between, well, you have 3, like I said. There's a fire sign, there's a water sign, there could be a Leo here. There's a lot. So I think the most important thing for you is not to focus so much on the lack or the need, but focus on feeling really good and solid in yourself and really ready for someone who is deserving of the work you've done and someone who inspires you as well. That's going to be the kind of cool energy that you hope to find, I hope. So can you find it? Yes, but there's so much on the spread here that I think there needs to be more intention on self and what you're trying to manifest. Who are you? What kind of energy are you trying to bring in, and why? And that's the sort of homework and the potential block on that. All right, destiny energy. We have dream sanctuary. As you know, I do a lot with dream work and dream totems here. I start off all my readings with interpretation from dreams. Connect to your dreams. The air signs, that was part of it here because we had the 7 of Cups. It says, attend to the simple things, but I would say also pay attention to how you feel when you wake up. What did you learn last night in dreams? How did you feel after you woke up from those? And then what makes you happy? When I'm looking at the simple things, it is really what brings joy into your life. And if you're trying to accomplish a dream, we see that manifesting here, right? So just believe that it's possible. Don't focus on the friction. Focus on the possibilities here. Okay? Now we are going to take a look at the big idea. And this is one, for this we're going to ask the question, how can you catch lightning in a bottle? So that we make sure that that's answered for today. More rainbows, folks, and more happy cards. We got the 10 of Cups here. So this is good. So the question I said is, how do you catch lightning in a bottle? So the 10 of Cups is, first of all, it's, hello, of course we're going to get something that's a vessel or a chalice to connect to that energy. What it's saying is, before you can do it, there are some things that need to be dealt with. One are sort of like your family connections. Is there or are there anyone in your life that is kind of like asking for too much, taking too much, pulling from your energy too much? Because when that happens, the cup is reversed and it's not ready to receive because you're giving and giving and giving. So the universe is giving you permission to ask and to say no. That way the cup can be upright. No, I can't help you this weekend. No, I'm not going to do this again. I've helped you 15 times on that. Put the no's in there and then say, yes, or I need this, or can you help me with this? Or yes, I'll receive that. So boundaries, requests, and affirmation when something good comes through so that the chalice can go up. When things are good, it's good. You earned that opportunity. Then don't disbelieve it when you see the lightning come through in your life in the best way. Lightning being a good thing here. It's a manifestation, a synchronicity. So we like this. You got 3 rainbows today. Some of you are dealing with a few different things that you have to sort of overcome. So we have, and they were in different directions, by the way. So the bridge was sideways. The 10 of Pentacles is upright. And this is an upside down one. Probably if I put them together, well, if it were this way, it would almost form a circle because that's kind of what a rainbow is a hidden circle. We just can't see the rest of it. But so everything is coming full circle based on the 3 different positions of the rainbows. The toughest one for you is dealing with people that you love and having better boundaries. And once you clear that up, you're going to have so much more to give to everybody else. We're going to have a chance to look at one more question. So I'd like you to, before we get into the meditation, think about it. What haven't I answered for you yet? Put that to the side, scribble it down. We're going to meditate together, and then I'll pull a card. While I'm getting the singing bowl set up, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. It's a great way to let me know that this was a video that you enjoyed. It's a great way to help others discover it. And that's pretty much it. On replay, leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on in your life. Let me know what you're going to do to kind of like embrace the rainbow that wants to come through. If you like to give back, you can do that as well. You can do it after the meditation, and just thanks in advance. Okay, we'll talk about more after the meditation. I'd like you to close your eyes right now. We're going to meditate for about 2 minutes and listen to a sound bowl as well. And then we will come back and look at that question that you have for me. So imagine, if you will, that you're stepping outside right after the rain. And let's imagine that it is like early afternoon, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And you can smell petrichor, a fancy word for the earth, after there's been a rain. It's kind of that musty, sweet smell. You can also smell flowers. You can hear the birds chirping. You can see the pollinators coming out. And there's these little drops of rain on all of the flowers, like little diamonds in the sunlight. Walk along the path, if you will, like we saw in the Ten of Pentacles, toward the rainbow in the horizon here. And imagine now that the worst, the most difficult elements of your life are in the past, that things are going to get step by step, day by day, breath by breath, easier and easier. And conjure up whatever image you want to see in that horizon at the end of the rainbow. And just imagine that you're going to arrive there by the end of this meditation, and hold your cup forward and say, I'm ready to receive, and just capture the energy of the rainbow. Okay? So breathe and kind of walk down that road, if you will. And in the meantime, I'm going to play the singing bowl. Take a deep breath. Hold out that cup in front of you, which is now filled with every light in the rainbow, and hold it close to your heart. And just allow that energy to melt in with your auric field, and basically just say to yourself, I am ready. That's your mantra. You can increase it and be more specific with it, which is, I am ready to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms, and I am ready now. Sometimes it really helps the universe to understand now means now, because if you say soon or just say I'm ready, you're not really telling the powers that be how soon. So I'm ready to receive it now. And that's going to help the sort of lightning element of it so that it happens sooner than later. Focus, if you will, now on one final question, anything that I have not yet asked, and set your energy and your intention on that, okay? Okay, so for the final card, what you received today was Nine of Swords energy. We have a new moon tomorrow, and we have a full moon in this card. And for some of you, it's just saying, give it a month, give it some time. Patience, my friends, patience. And don't necessarily, especially tomorrow, folks, don't go into worst case scenario, because the energy that you enter into a new moon on can be very impactful in the week ahead. So I'd like you to focus on what you want to see change in rather than what hasn't changed. Focus on what could possibly happen than what could possibly go wrong. Today could be a good day to plan for worst case scenarios, but tomorrow is a day to embrace opportunities. And so now for the week ahead, this card is just saying, like, sometimes we make things a lot worse than they need to be. So prepare for the worst, but expect the best. That's how you overcome the Nine of Swords. Always have a contingency, but don't expect to need to use it. Instead, start to look at other possibilities and do everything you can to not have to use that insurance plan because it is a last-ditch effort. So get enough sleep this week. One thing that helps, I've been doing it, is exercising. The minute I hit the pillow, I'm done. So exercise is a great way. Cutting out caffeine after a certain time in the day is also great. And ultimately talking to someone, and then knowing that if you get a good night's sleep, you're going to be that much better and that much fresher when it comes to being able to distribute or deliver news. So that's everything, folks. This is simply getting out of your head. That's the message. You can do what you want to do, but you got to get out of your head space. Okay? We're going to do a couple of things of housekeeping and then wrap up for today. First and foremost, I just want to say thanks. This is always a fun way to end the weekend, to kick off a Sunday, and I love the community that I have here. So thanks to all of you. Thanks to YouTube for giving me a space to do all of this. I appreciate you guys. If you ever want to get news and updates just to make sure that you don't miss a video, I know that these notifications don't always work, follow me on social media. All the links are here. Dakota's also putting them in chat. A quick heads up, from time to time, imposters will pop up. Just know that I don't offer readings. I don't use chat to interact or direct messages. So those are some good common sense things. You can also go to my website if you need more information. Thanks in advance. I've been keeping an eye on the side here. A bunch of people have gifted memberships and also joined. I'm going to take a couple moments now to say thanks to all of you. All right, so also just thanks to everybody in chat, because that means that you're a subscriber. So thank you for your support, your love, and for being a part of this community. I'm specifically going to call out members first, and then I'm going to say thanks to anybody that gave a sticker. And because I can only see a certain component of chat, I probably can't see those who gifted, but I'm just going to verbally say thank you to all of the gifters and the giftees today. It's cool to have you here. All right, so I'm going to run down the newest members here. Rebecca, Patricia, Renee, Christina, also Wendy, Mystical Empath, Jaya, Craig, another Debbie here. So we have Debbie Lucas here. Natty, I think it is. And that's everybody for today here. And if I have a chance and I can see some of the folks that gifted, I will say thank you. All right, now for supers and super stickers. Let's see what we've got going on here. Let me scroll to the beginning. All right, for today, kicking things off, we have Lucy. I appreciate that. Also, Z, Unstoppable, Misha, Amber, Toy Sisters, Audrey, Renita, Chloe, Eileen, Cindy, Rian, Gizem, and Monica. And special thanks to Eileen and Renita for giving a little extra. I do appreciate that as well. And also Rosemary, I missed that. Let me scroll down. I missed a couple here. I think I forgot. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. And then there's a couple new ones here. It all comes quickly. Monica and there might be another one from Gizem and Rian and Cindy. And if I missed anybody, I know Dakota caught them. So let me see here. Sometimes I can see gifts. So thank you to Cersei for gifting one. I appreciate that. Sarah, thank you for being a member for 3 months. I'm glad you like the Neverending Story reference. Lulia, so good to see you here back again. I know you're a regular, and thanks for gifting a membership. Let's see if there's anybody else that gifted. That's all I can see. So if anyone else gifted, I missed it because the chat cuts off, but thank you. All right. Thanks to Dakota for being here as well, helping with the moderation. Thanks to all of you. Have a great week ahead. Remember, I'm here every Monday, Thursday, and Friday with live premieres. I do a live stream every Sunday. I do daily readings as well. And I do impromptu lives for the celestial events like the moon. So I'll probably be here sometime tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Sending you lots of love and light. Wishing you all the best in the week ahead. And thanks for picking a great topic this week as well. All right, take care. Bye-bye.